back to episode 9 of the Restoring Podcast. Today we are interviewing Mr. David Young.
Hey, how are y'all?
I'm pretty good. How are you?
I'm good.
That was my question, so it's y'all's turn.
So today, like we always do, we're gonna ask people some questions. So, would anybody like to go first, or let me go?
I'll go first.
Okay.
So what do you do for a living?
I'm an audio engineer. Mostly I take recordings that people make wherever they're at. They send them to me, and then I mix them and make their recordings into an album that they can sell.
Cool.
What are some albums you've worked on?
These albums that are up here are some of them. I worked on your parents' albums,
I know those people.
as well as some other people who are up
Too
there.
fat for this.
Lately, I've been working mostly in like Christian and gospel music, doing different things. I do a lot of vocal tracking as well. So when people need to cut really good sounding vocals, they come to me.
Could you make me a rap beat?
Just make beats.
I don't make beats.
I know, but like for like a sounding, if I go over,
I could make your voice sound
Yeah,
good
that's what
if
I
you
mean.
had a beat.
Auto too.
that's what I want.
There you go.
What got you into all like the music stuff?
So I used to play guitar a long time ago, like when I was y'all's age in high school. My life kind of revolved around guitar, and I really enjoyed it, and this is my guitar from at that point. But it was super fun, and I started to get into like the more technical side of it. And so I was on a worship team for probably 2 years, and the guy that they had that would come and set up all the sound either quit or got fired or something. I don't know. He just stopped showing up, and there was no sound. And so we did like 2 acoustic, like fully acoustic shows to like a bunch of people, and I was like, I need to figure this out. So I had no clue what I was doing. I just hooked up stuff and messed around with stuff until I got it to work, and then I'm sure it sounded horrible the first time I did it, but the first time I figured out how to make sound come through speakers, it was like, oh, this is super fun. And so that kind of expanded to running like super tiny little, like I worked for a church for a while that I ran their like kids church thing, but it was like a room this big of like 5 kids and with 1 speaker. Yeah. And then it became like a little bit bigger and bigger and bigger, and so I just grew on that. And then eventually I went from running live sound to doing studio sound, which I enjoy the studio stuff a lot. So
What's your favorite dinner food? Just kidding. What did you want to be when you grew up?
what did I want to be when I grew up? Let's see. My mom just told me this the other day, that my life's aspiration when I was a little kid was to be a garbage man.
That sounds amazing.
That's an awesome job.
That's the way to go.
That's a pretty good job.
Yeah, so when I was a little kid, that's all I wanted to do was be a garbage man. Like a firefighter or a policeman, then those are cool jobs, but I wanted to ride on the outside of vehicles while they drove down the road.
I've always wanted to do that too. To
Yeah,
be honest,
As far as actually like picking up other people's trash, no. I just wanted to be the dude that rode on the back of the truck down the road while I was driving.
So for someone who would want to do what you do, what colleges would you recommend them? I know you went to Full Sail, which is a great school.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, there's tons of great schools. Full Sail was kind of my introduction into that whole recording world. So for me, where I lived, there wasn't much of a music scene, and definitely not one that I could have gotten into. Here in Nashville, there's so many opportunities, but where we were, there just wasn't. And so I didn't know anything or anyone in the industry. So I literally just Google searched how to work in studios, and their marketing made them show up first on Google, and so I clicked on it and eventually ended up going there. But there's a ton of great schools around here in this area, so I've had a couple different friends go to different places, and one of the guys that kind of interns with me is going to MTSU and Ball State up the road, so they have great programs for that there as well.
So, the trophy behind you to your left, what is that from?
Oh, that is a Dove Award. That is basically, and we just made a super good record, and the people at GMA liked it and voted for it, and we won.
Well, congratulations.
Happy birthday. Okay.
We all nominated for this year's Dove Awards.
I didn't have anything in this year's. I think I will have 2 next year.
I expect
Did
to see
I-
your name.
Huh?
I expect to see your name up there.
Well, we'll see.
Yeah, because
Just because I'm nominated doesn't mean I get one.
my dad works on the Dove Awards, and
Yeah.
they just had it a couple days ago, or
Last night.
yeah, last night. Yeah, my birthday. Yeah, never mind. You might have any more questions? No.
No, I think I'm out.
I said something about a beard.
Did you pay attention in school?
That is actually a super good question. I was horrible at school. At high school, I was terrible. So I think it basically boiled down to I didn't have great teachers growing up. It wasn't so I went through high school. Obviously I graduated, everything was fine, but I never really excelled, and I never really could figure out why I was horrible at school. Then I went off to college. The first semester I was there, I did really well because my senior year in high school was far more difficult than my first year of college. Or my first semester of college. And so I did really, really well because I barely had to try and everything. I just got incredible grades. Then real part of college hit, and I did terrible. And then the next semester I did even more terrible. I think in one of my classes I got a 4.
Wow.
I got that on a test once.
Plus
It was
bonus points.
Yeah, my whole class, I got a 4.
Hey, it's not 0.
I don't super recommend
zero.
going that direction. But anyways, so I got kind of fed up with school. I was considering dropping out, and then that's when I found Full Sail, actually, and I went there. And the way the school's set up, it's different. You don't have semesters. You have every class is a month long. So whether you love the class or you really dislike the class, you have it for a month. So even the worst class, if you can pay attention for 1 month and pass it, you're done.
That sounds nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
So-
really nice.
But your incredible classes that you love and you want to keep, you only have them for 4 weeks and then you're out. But the very first month I was there was it was my introductory class to the whole program. There was one of my teachers. She was she was going to school for her doctorate in special education, and she basically sat down with a bunch of us, and she was like, this is how you learn. This is how you take information in. Like me personally, not how everyone as a student should learn. And so it kind of totally shifted everything as far as education for me. As soon as I realized I'm not weird, I'm not I am weird, but there's a formula on how I learn as a person. I was able to take that, and then I ended up graduating. I was 3rd in my class and with honors and the whole thing, and ended up getting my master's degree eventually. But that one class totally changed everything. So to answer your question, I was terrible in school, and then one thing shifted once I realized that I can be good at school. And then, I was great after that.
Did you grow up here in Tennessee, or did you go somewhere else?
I'm kind of from all over the place. So I was born just outside of Detroit, Michigan. I was born in Ypsilanti, Michigan, and lived in Chelsea, Michigan, which, if you've ever had Jiffy cornbread, that is Chelsea, Michigan. That employs like 90% of the entire town. That's literally the only thing there. When I grew up there, from the time I was born until I was, I think, 7 is when we moved to Texas. I lived in Texas from then until I left for Full Sail, and I lived in Florida for a few years, and then I moved back to Texas, and then I moved here in 2014. I've been here since.
Sounds like a lot of boxes.
It is a lot of boxes, and also moving is the worst thing ever.
Yeah. Does anybody have any more questions?
I'm out.
Hold on, let me think of one.
Oh my god.
Please stand by.
No, I think I'm out. I'm
Does?
out.
Well, I think that's all the time we've got for this episode, folks. Thank you for listening or watching wherever you are. Be sure to stay tuned for next week's episode and subscribe to the YouTube page of X Marks the Films. We'll see you next week. Goodbye, everybody.